Welcome to the fish tank.
Hey everybody, Fishman here, and welcome to another video. This was originally intended as last Wednesday's upload, and I had a few computer issues. Hopefully those are all resolved now, and we can get on with this build. This build came about because of a couple of questions on the prior week's video. People had an interest in and some questions about why were there two boxes, a box inside of a box. What benefit does that give to the filter? So I thought, instead of just explaining it, which I'll try and do a little bit here, I thought what I'd do is I'd build a single layered box filter and then run that and show how it worked. Now, because of the issues I had last week with the computer, this is going to give you a little extra time to show you how this works. And actually there were some interesting results, which will come at the end of the video. Box filters are probably one of the most versatile in-tank filters that you can use, and I thought I'd take advantage of that a little bit. So instead of just doing a simple box filter with a single layer, I decided what I'm going to do here instead is I'm going to make a multi-chamber one, so that you can have, they're both going to be single layered, but they're going to nest on top of each other, and they're going to be run by one lift stack, and that gives you the advantage of separating out your media. You can put all the biomedia in the bottom one, and then you can put just polywool in the top if you like for clarification of the water, or you can add in carbon or any other form of chemical filtration if that's the sort of thing you like to do. It gives you lots of versatility. And now normally if I were to build this style, I would of course use the two layers. Two layers helps direct the flow a lot better, and they tend to actually just work better. And but instead of just taking my word for it, like I said, I'm going to do this build, I'm going to put it in the tank, I'm going to show you how it works, and then because of this and because of the delay, Friday's video is going to be this build again, but it's going to be how I would have built it if I wasn't trying to demonstrate the single layer thing. Hopefully this will all become clear by the end of all this. So also in the attempt to keep this as simple a process to build as possible, I'm sticking with the templating idea. I'm going to probably go back to doing it a different way later on, but this is the easiest way to set up holes. And especially if you're doing any kind of assembly like this here. I'm building two boxes. They're identical in most respects except for a couple of holes. So this is just a lot of flip and repeat. I mean, it's just very quick. I mean, the entire build time for this whole thing, including designing, was probably only about an hour and a half. So you can make a quick filter this way. And if you have a fish room to do, like we're going to make a bunch of them, you can template this and then run off a whole pile in a short period of time. The other neat thing about doing it this way is it naturally creates symmetry. Even if you're not measuring accurately, and actually I don't think I measured this at all, I just sort of eyeballed it as we went along, because you are flipping it and then drilling a hole on the same position on the opposite side, you end up with good symmetry. But the other thing you have to be careful about, though, is because you're not measuring, is the holes will not be exactly the same when you flip it like I'm doing right here now. You can see there's a slight edge to it there. And that's just something you need to be careful of. The thing about this particular glue up, though, is there's only one of the central holes that is going to be glued in place. So the other two can just actually, if you end up making an error, and which way it goes, you can just turn it around the other way and it'll be perfectly fine. Now, I know I've done a lot of filter builds lately, and I actually intend on doing kind of a review as we get closer towards the end of the year. I want to show how they're all doing and which ones I actually like to work with. And keep in mind, whenever I do these things, like this particular one here is just pure experimentation or demonstration, depending on how you want to look at it. I would never actually build this filter, and there are a number of filters I've done so far this year and a bit of last year that were just like, I want to try it out. And some of them have been surprises in the sense that they either work really well or don't work at all, or certainly don't meet the kind of requirements I have. I mean, most filters will do enough for a home tank. I mean, there's very little I think you can do that would make it not work. You just end up with different levels of what kind of capacity this filter will have. But I'm trying to build stuff here that's going to hopefully be able to have, other applications than just like a home aquarium. So anyway, there's the first box. I'm not going to bore you with putting the second box together. I'll just show it to you here. I just wanted to put all the stacks and show you how they're going to work here. There's going to be a plate on the bottom, as in the other build. The tube's going to go up through the center. It's going to also then go through this hole here into this one here. And this is the part where it actually gets kind of tricky. There's going to be two bottom plates, and then the top plate is going to sit like in the box that's going to be there is going to sit with the spacers. But because this pipe is solid, it will only draw water from the bottom. To get around that, I have to drill holes around at the same height around the lift stack. But they have to be precise, and that is actually a real issue with this kind of way of doing it, and reason why I don't like doing it this way. It requires some precision drilling, which is not a big deal if you have the equipment, but it's not something that I really would recommend. The other thing is, it's acrylic. Acrylic is not easy to work with. It doesn't like being drilled, doesn't like being machined, and the more you do to it, the more likely it is to crack. Now, when I was originally deciding this, I was trying to figure out whether 4 or 8 holes, and actually it wasn't right up until the very last second, you'll see as I'm drilling here, that I decided to stick with 4. I was running out of material. The walls were getting pretty close together, and I didn't want to end up cracking it and having to redo this whole thing, so I stuck with 4. And then at that time I said, well, if it works out really cool and it's doing what it needs to do, I will move on and try 8. I see I'm setting it up for the 5th hole here right now, and then I just decided not to do it. But again, I mean, when I build this, like I said in the beginning, that I wasn't entirely I don't think this is going to do as well, but I've been surprised many times when I make builds. Sometimes they just work out, and in that case, like I said, I want to be able to modify this, so we'll keep it, like I said, we'll just keep it the way it's going here. So anyway, this is very straightforward from here on. I'm just going to stick this all together, and then I'm going to put media in it and get it ready to run, and we'll just see how it performs. Now, the tank I'm going to sit this on initially is going to be the reset I did. Now, it's got an underground filter on it, and it's just doing okay, but I don't want to give it too much work. I want to see how it flows and the water's clear, so I'm just going to get it going. And then I thought as the week progressed that I wanted to give it a real challenge. Now, if you remember the simple design filter I had made, the reason I had made that was so that it would clarify the tank, the guppy tank, where I was doing lots of feeding because I needed a little extra filtration, and it did a really great job. So I thought I'd stick that down in there, and we'll see how it does there. So that's going to be interesting. Now, remember when I was telling you that you needed to drill this rather precisely? In a second here, I'm going to pan down, and you're going to see why. This is rather tricky to get the holes where they need to be so you can actually have water drawn from the top chamber here. So there's going to be a pipe going down there, and the water's air is going to bubble up, drawing water mostly from the bottom plate. But you'll look right in the center here between that plate. You see the hole there? That has to be right between all those 4 holes. Have to be right at that level, so that water will be drawn down through this, and that's the tricky bit here. So anyway, I'm going to stick this on a tank, and then I'm going to show you it running. And then on Friday, I'm going to show you the process that went through and how that all worked out. And then I'm going to build another one of these. And you're going to see this one down in this tank here. And this is the original box filter. And it's actually doing really quite well. And I'm very happy with it. I mean, this is a good design. I like it. It works well. And then this one here, you'll see how it works. So thank you very much for watching. If you like this style of video, please like and or subscribe. And on Friday, this will actually all be much clearer. You'll see how this all works out. This filter actually works. It's just how picky you want to be is what it really comes down to. And of course, how much load the filter is going to be under too. So anyway, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you in the next video, and bye for now.